Good afternoon, friends. This is Isaiah, and you are here. I hope everyone is having just an absolutely wonderful day today. The sun is shining. It's beautiful outside today. Topic for today is going to be the topic of the collective consciousness. Now, to some of you, that may be a new term, collective consciousness. To others, you may be quite familiar with the concept. What is the collective consciousness? Well, you can think of the collective consciousness like a hive mind, except it's a hive mind of human beings. That's what you would call the beehive that is humanity. The collective, all of humanity, consciousness. Why is this an important concept? Why is this something important to consider in your life? Well, the collective consciousness has everything to do with everything that we experience. Changing one thing within the realm of the collective consciousness creates a domino effect of events, situations, and circumstances that transpire all across the globe on a daily basis. I'm sure many of you have heard of the idea of the butterfly effect, where a butterfly can be in South America somewhere, flutters its wings, and before you know it, somehow, some way, through a chain of events, from the butterfly flapping its wings, there's a hurricane in Florida. Creates a domino effect. Well, the collective consciousness is the human mind structure as a whole. All 6 billion of us, give or take, on the planet at this time are all having thoughts, taking actions, and doing things that are affecting one another, whether we realize it or not. It's kind of like a butterfly effect, tongue-tied, butterfly effect for humans. Well, what's your role in that? Well, a lot. Depending on what you do with yourself day in and day out, depending on your habits, your thoughts, your attitude, the way you engage the world, pretty much everything you do affects the collective consciousness. Right now, we're seeing a shift in this. People are becoming aware of this. The idea of selfishness and greed is starting to fall by the wayside, and the human species as a whole is becoming aware of this greater understanding of oneness and how important it is to share our life and our experiences with one another and take each person, man, woman, and child, into consideration when making certain decisions. That's why you'll hear sometimes in the spiritual community there is an awakening going on. Well, that awakening right now is taking place within the collective consciousness as a whole. The mind state of humanity is shifting and changing, and the paradigm as we know it is shifting. Now, we can accelerate this process, and we can see rapid change sooner than later, the faster we allow ourselves to let go of the concept of division and separateness and greed, anger, basically any mind state that leaves you in a low vibratory frequency. You see, for us to create this new reality, for us to expedite this new paradigm, we have to do our part on an individual level to expedite the process. When you go out into the world on a daily basis, think of anything that you can do. Leave yourself available to help someone, a stranger in need. It could be a little old lady at a grocery store, or just someone needs to back out of a parking spot and you give them a couple of minutes to do it. You don't cut someone off. Anything you can do to help another person, anything that you can do to make someone's life better, even if it's only for a few seconds, is going to expedite this process of evolution, as I like to call it. It's very primitive to think in terms of yours and mine, and I'm going to get you and I'll take you out, and we're in competition with one another because I'm better than you, or this is all very primitive thinking. It takes a soul, it takes someone special to want to walk away from that, to want to make a true and profound change, not just for themselves, but for the whole of humanity. We have to want this as individuals for us to be successful. And if you're watching this channel right now, or you've checked out some of my other videos, I've mentioned this before, you're my people. And I know that you wouldn't be here right now if you wasn't interested in seeking out this change, this shift in consciousness that's taking place on the planet right now as we speak. It's going to happen regardless. It's the evolutionary next step, I believe, for our species as a whole. We're going to have to make radical change if we are to save ourselves as a species and if we are to save this planet. I can't say whether or not we're destroying it for sure. I am not a scientist. I am not someone who has tremendous insight into the climate and the atmosphere and our effect on it. I can't prove that on my own. I have my own ideas and my own suspicions, but it's neither here nor there. One thing I do know for sure, putting climate change and all other things aside that's destroying this planet, one thing that I can see and doesn't take a PhD to recognize as a problem, and that is war. That is the undercurrent of death that seems to be the norm in today's society. Murder and violence and killing, it's everywhere. And everyone just dismisses it as, hey, it's just a natural part of life. We murder each other, we're primitives, we're savages, we're animals, and everyone just kind of accepts that. And right now, up to this point, that has been the norm within the realm of the collective consciousness. Everyone just kind of accepts famine, and they accept all the greed and all the capitalism and all the chaos that's taking place right now. While I stick to the fact that chaos and all of these dualistic events, good, bad, back and forth, something wonderful happens, miracles happen, and at the same time murder happens. It is necessary to a degree, but it doesn't have to be the norm. It's not what's necessary to maintain the balance. If it was what was necessary to maintain the balance within this universe, we wouldn't be seeing this evolution in consciousness. We wouldn't be seeing this change. You see, we've gotten a little off kilt over the last few decades, where things were good. There was a nice even balance between the modality of people's thoughts and actions and what was going on in society, and it's just started to tip. Actually, probably in the last 100 years, it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse to where we're at now. We're bottoming out, and now we're going back into that upswing to reestablish the balance. It's just a natural event that happens in life, and we can take an active part in it. We can see this happen in our lifetimes. This doesn't have to be something that happens over the course of the next 100 years. We can speed the process up, and just by doing things as I mentioned before, by being mindful of your thoughts, your actions, and your words, by putting out a positive frequency, by doing what you can to help your fellow man every minute of the day when you're out in public, looking for opportunities to serve someone else, even if it's only for a moment, for a couple of seconds. It can completely turn someone's life around. And as I've said it before, that shit's contagious. Greatness, goodness is contagious. You give somebody something, you give someone just a second of your time. Oftentimes that's enough to turn someone's whole day around. And before you know it, everyone that person's interacting with is interacting with other people in a positive manner, and making their day good. And before you know it, you've helped 250 people that day have a great day, all by helping just one person. Well, we can do this on a global scale. We can take our active role, we can take an active part in shifting the collective consciousness, the whole of humanity's, for the good. We're all one species, we're all one energy, we are all one consciousness. We are united, whether you want to be united or not. The illusion of separateness is just that, it is an illusion. And the sooner people start to accept the fact that we are one and we are not separate, we are not divided by race, by sexual identity, by borders, it's all an illusion. And that paradigm is dying, and we need to dismantle it. And we need to push it to the side, and we need to wake up to the fact that everyone wants to live. There is plenty to go around. This idea of that, well, there's just not enough. This common thinking on just lack. Well, we don't have enough to share. No, that's not true. There's plenty to go around. Nobody should be starving or homeless on this entire planet. And that's common knowledge. We can live for the betterment of one another and for ourselves if we all just work together and we all care. It's going to happen. It's coming. I can feel it. I see it every single day when I go out into the world and I greet someone or someone does something nice for me. It's there, and it's starting to happen more often. Well, I hope this video has served you in some way today. Like I said, I hope it's given you some insight into the concept of the collective consciousness and where we're headed as a species. We're going up, folks. We're going up. Let's speed this process up. Let's get some things moving. Let's do something today. Do something today to help someone. And make that your everyday focus and your everyday intention for the rest of your life, to do just one nice thing for anyone. It can be anyone, family, friend, stranger. Do something nice for someone every single day of your life. And I promise you will more than do your part in making this world a better place to be in. This life can be so much more than what it's been up to this point. This reality, this existence can be so much more than what we've allowed it to be as a species. It has to be. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to wage war. Nobody wants to starve. Nobody wants those things. It's just a byproduct of the greed and the imbalance that we've seen for several decades now. So let's change it. Do your part, and let's work together up here and in here. All right, friends, well, if you haven't done it up to this point, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow along on Instagram at youarehere334. And until next time, friends, I hope that you have much, much peace in your mind, much love in your heart, much balance in your soul. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.